Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us to learn more about the Robinson MBA. Before we get started, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Liz Rivera, and I am the graduate recruiter for the MBA. So let's get started. So here we have a great outline of the team that's dedicated to your success if you join our MBA program. Now, lucky for you, you will be hearing from two of us on this teams. So first, from the left, we have Dr. Satish. He is the MBA faculty director, and you will be hearing from him today to learn more about the curriculum and the program. And now you are hearing from me. I am Liz Rivera, I'm the graduate recruiter, and I am here for you from the moment that you express interest into the program to the moment that you get admitted. Once you're admitted, you do start engaging with the student engagement team, which is headed by Jermaine Clark, as well as the Career Advancement Center that will help you with your career success. Now, that team is going to be headed by Lauren McDowell. And then last but not least, you do communicate with our advisement team, and your academic advisor should be Vanessa Jones, who will be helping you if you have any questions regarding what classes to take. So here we have a great illustration of our breakdown for our fall 2024 graduate student community. Now, we do have about 1,446 students. Now, this here is a great breakdown to show our diversity, shows what sets us apart from any other school in the area, as well as the different offerings that we have. So starting from the left, you can see that our breakdown is 55% female with 45% male. And then we have about 33% international students with about 67% domestic. You do see that our average age is about 31 years. So that kind of shows those students that come straight from undergrad, as well as those that do have that experience, that do come to us with experience. And then on the right side, we have our 18 graduate programs listed for you. So now I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Satish to tell you a little bit more about why the Robinson MBA.
Hello, everyone. My name is Satish Nargunkar. I am the Assistant Dean for the MBA program here at Robinson College. I'm going to spend the next few minutes telling you a little bit about our MBA program, starting with, of course, as you can see on this slide, why should you come to the Robinson College for your MBA? If you think about any graduate program, your primary goal is to enhance your career in some way, and typically that hinges on three things. One is, of course, the curriculum, the things that you learn in the classroom. The second is your ability to meet people, executives from companies that might hire you, just to build your network. And the third is things that you learn outside the classroom. You pick up a lot of skills from your peers, from student organizations, from co-curricular activities, etc. And so we'll touch upon all of these a little bit. First, talking about the curriculum. Our curriculum is constantly being updated because of our dialogue with our board of directors or board of advisors from industry who tell us what's working and what's not in terms of the graduates that they hire, what kinds of skills are they good at, what do they lack. And so we are in a constant state of updating and improving our curriculum. And we've actually gone through a complete overhaul over the last couple of years. So that is number one. Number two, the networking opportunities, just being in Atlanta affords you with incredible opportunities because Atlanta is the most vibrant city in the Southeast and home to the headquarters of about 29 or 30 of the top for the Fortune 1000 companies. And there are lots of small and medium-sized companies as well. And in terms of the co-curricular activities, um, there are many, many things that are built into our program, and Liz will go over and talk to you in a little more detail about that. But first, just to give you a sense of our curriculum and our faculty, um, we have about 200 full-time faculty in the College of Business. So we are a very large college, but that means that we have faculty that specialize in a lot of different areas. And they are chosen to teach in the MBA program, not just for their expertise in their fields, but also because of their ties to industry. Because the MBA program is a very practical, applied field. a professional degree. And so we want faculty members who are as consultants or have worked as consultants or have strong ties to industry, and they are the ones that come to the classroom. So you will have people that teach you that are at the top of their field and know how to apply it in the real world. When it comes to um, networking, here's a quick look at some of the big companies that call Atlanta their home, that either are headquartered here or have a large presence in the city of Atlanta. And this is just a small sample to show you how many different companies are around. And downtown, the view that you see of downtown Atlanta, um, we are located right there, we have two campuses primarily. One is in downtown, one is in Buckhead, which is the financial center of Atlanta. So our classes being where they are, we are surrounded by people from industry. So executives have easy access to Georgia State, and our students have good access to executives from various companies. That's the networking part of it. And here are, again, a small sample of our alumni who have gone on to do great things. These are people who have become CEOs or presidents of companies. And if you're coming into our MBA program, of course, we don't say that you'll immediately, as soon as you graduate, become a CEO, but the idea of the MBA program is to put you on a path where you can enhance your career and maybe one day be at the top of the profession. And in terms of the third aspect, which is the signature or experiences or co-curricular activities, I'm going to stop right here um, and turn it back to Liz to tell you a little bit more about that.
Right, thank you so much, Satish. So here we have our signature experiences. So we do talk about what happens inside of the classroom, but let's talk about what offerings you'll get outside of the classroom. So one big question that I always get is there any study abroad opportunities? And the answer is yes, we do have some study abroad trips. And here on the left side, we do have a picture of a study abroad trip that was in Toulouse, France. And then on the right, we have what we call our Panther immersion programs. So we like to give students the opportunity to get some real world exposure through these Panther immersion programs. And this is what we call them. And we have a variety of them. So the one on the right is Panthers in the District, in which they go to Washington, D.C. to get exposure. And then we have Panthers on Wall Street, and you guessed it, our students go on Wall Street to kind of get that exposure, as well as Panthers in the Valley. And we have a few other ones as well. Now, in addition to those Panther immersion programs, we also provide the opportunity to go visit headquarters to make these company site visits. Atlanta is home to a lot of companies, a lot of headquarters, a lot of tech startups, a lot of opportunities for our students. So we take advantage of that and we provide these site visits to students to some of those headquarters. Now, one headquarters that we have in Atlanta is the Mercedes-Benz headquarters. So here we have a picture of one of those site visits. Now, also as a student, you do get the opportunity to compete in case competitions. Now, case competitions are these opportunities where the students get provided this real world problem that they have to work with a team to solve. And then they present that solution to a team of judges. And then they are judged based on that and placed. And then whatever place you get, you are able to win prizes. And so here on the right side, we have the Ohio State Key Bank graduate case competition in which our team won first place, and that was a $10,000 winning prize. And I will say that historically, our teams at Georgia State University do place in the top 3 often. So, and that's a great opportunity to gain those public speaking skills, those problem solving skills, and then even just network. So we do have these opportunities available to you as students. So now that we talked about outside of the classroom, we must talk about in the classroom. So I'm going to give it away to Dr. Satish to talk more about the curriculum.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I want to now go over our MBA curriculum and tell you about what to expect in the MBA program. First, very quickly, an MS program versus an MBA program, you should know the difference. An program is typically a very focused program in just one subject area, and therefore a little shorter. So you could do an MS in accounting, MS in finance, MS in information systems, etc. And that's typically 10 courses in that one subject alone. That is good if your goal is to specialize in one area and you know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life as your career. An MBA, on the other hand, is a much broader degree that teaches you about all aspects of business first, the breadth of it, and then allows you to focus in one of the areas a little bit. So to that end, if you look at this slide, you can see that the degree as a whole requires 42 credit hours, which is 14 courses. Each course is 3 credit hours. So the 14 courses are made up of 10 core classes and then 4 electives for you to specialize in. The core classes that you can see here in the blue, green, and the orange boxes are the what we call the cornerstone core, the functional core, and then the capstone course. Those 10 classes, 4 plus 5 plus 1, are the required classes. And the 4 classes shown in yellow as the electives are things that you choose from a wide array of options. Now, in addition to that, as a starter in the program, we have something called an MBA residency, and that's a 2-day residency where you come on campus and meet all the fellow MBA students that are beginning their program at the same time as you. And you go through an immersive experience where you go through a lot of little workshops or sessions where you learn about various aspects that will help you succeed in the program. In addition to, of course, help meeting your peers, meeting some faculty members, meeting staff members, etc. So that's the purpose of the residency. But in terms of the program itself, as I mentioned, it's 42 hours or 14 courses with 10 core and 4 electives. So to go into a little more detail about your options in that regard, let's go to the next slide. Here are the modalities in red and the majors available within the MBA. So when we say modality, we mean how is the course delivered. We have 2 options, a fully online asynchronous MBA program or a face-to-face slash in-person program that's on campus. Now, if you choose the online asynchronous program, it is by default available in the business administration major, which, by the way, the MBA stands for Master of Business Administration. So that is the default major. And since it's a newly launched program, the number of electives that you have is relatively limited. So you may only have 5 or 6 or 7 electives right now, out of which to choose 4 to fulfill your requirements. So that's the only limitation. Over time, these will get built up even more and more options will become available. But for now, if you want to do this online, you will be in the major called business administration, and there are no concentrations available. The concentration will be just called general business. If you come to the face-to-face program that has been going on for 50 years, you have now 2 options. Again, the business administration option, which is sort of the default, or you can choose the business analysis major, which is a STEM program. Now, the STEM program, for those of you that may not know, the STEM, as you know, stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Well, the S and E, the science and engineering part doesn't apply here, but the technology and the math does. So if you think of AI or machine learning or analytics, those are the fields that combine technology and mathematics. And so the business analysis major essentially is for those of you that might be interested in that area, analytics. It's called business analysis here, right? So you first choose whether you want to be online or face to face. And if you are online, you don't have a choice of majors. If you are face to face, you can choose from one of these 2. Within these 2, as it shows there, the business administration major has multiple options for concentrations. So you can have a business administration MBA with a concentration in one of 15 plus options, whereas business analysis, because it is STEM designated, we are required to offer you only those courses or a list of courses as your electives that are technology and math related, typically analytics related. So again, it's a more limited set of electives. That's the only difference, or that's one of the main differences. So if you look at the online program, this is just to repeat what I just said. You are restricted to the business administration major, and electives that we are currently offering, they include some courses from these areas in general. But like I said, it's a limited set of electives. If you go to the face-to-face program, you have the option of choosing either business administration with a lot of different concentrations or certificates possible, or you can choose the STEM major business analysis. For international students, having a STEM major has implications for visa extension after graduation for practical training. For domestic students, that of course does not have any importance. What's important is that it's a STEM program if that's of interest to you. So the concentrations, these are available as part of the business administration, the non-STEM MBA or the default, the regular MBA. And so if you choose an in-person MBA in business administration with business administration as the major, then you can choose from any one of these as your concentration. So each of these concentrations will essentially require you to take 4 classes in that field to complete that concentration, and that will satisfy your 4 elective requirement for the MBA. So it's a list that you can go through and see which one fits your interest. In addition to those concentrations, we have currently 3 certificate programs that also fulfill your 4 elective requirement. So each of these 3 certificate programs, artificial intelligence innovation, fintech innovation, and the disruptive innovation and entrepreneurship, each of these is a 4 course sequence that again satisfies your elective requirement for the MBA. And in addition, unlike a concentration, this is just an administrative difference. Unlike a concentration, this one will give you a separate certification that says you completed an AI innovation certificate, for example. Concentrations are things that show up on your transcripts, but you don't get a separate certificate. Whereas the certificate programs give you a separate certification, but don't show up on your transcripts. That has more to do with the administrative setup of these things. But as far as you're concerned, they all function as a set of electives that you can choose from. Now, in terms of the business analysis or the STEM program, this is the major that you have to choose. So if you're in the face-to-face program and you choose the STEM program or the major in business analysis, then here are the electives that you're required to take. Of the 4 electives, 3 are required in the areas of business intelligence, data mining, and business modeling. And then you choose a 4th course from a list that's provided. And that list might change, or we may add more courses to it. But for now, this is the list that's available. And that, in a nutshell, is you have to choose from among when you apply for the MBA program. So to recap, choose either online or face to face. And if you choose face to face, choose either business administration or business analytic or business analysis, which is this. And if you choose business administration, you can pick a concentration or a certificate program as part of your electives. Now, in terms of the program structure, again, I will stop right here and I'll turn it back to Liz to give you the details of how those courses are offered.
Hey, thank you so much. So let's talk about the program structure. So as you learned, we have 2 modalities for the MBA. We have the face-to-face option as well as the online. Now, our MBA admits in either the fall, the spring, or the summer cycle. So you can apply for either one of those cycles for either the face-to-face and the online. You can complete the program full-time within usually 16 to 24 months, so about 4 to 6 semesters. However, the program is flexible, so you can really complete the program in a max of 5 years. So you do have up to 5 years to complete the program. Now, if you're choosing to do the face-to-face program, those classes are always going to be offered in the afternoon. Now, classes are once a week between Monday through Thursday, and your classes will start either 4:30 to 7 or 7:15 to 9:45. Now, those are going to be our traditional semester classes that are once a week. If you choose to do our mini master classes, now those are classes that are half of what the traditional semester is. So a traditional semester is about 16 weeks, and a mini semester is an 8-week session. Now, those classes are once a week and would be from 5:30 to 9:45 p.m. Now, if you're someone that has interest in more than just one program, so maybe you're interested in the MBA, but you want to do the business analytics, but you're also interested in getting an MS in analytics, we do have those options available to students. So here we outline all of the different dual degree programs that we have with the MBA. So if you are someone that are considering an MBA with a JD, so you're interested in going to law school, you can do that. We also have an MBA with a Master of Health Administration, an MBA with an MHA as well as a JD. So maybe you want health administration as well as law school. And then last but not least, we have the MBA with the MS in analytics. Now, one thing to know is that you do have to gain admissions to both programs. So the way that these work is that you will be applying to both. So some of them have dual applications, and you'll be reviewed by both departments. So you do have to gain admissions and you do have to be admissible to both departments so that you can get admitted. Now, if it happens that you are admitted into the MBA but not into the MSA program, that's just an example, the recruiter reaches out and lets you know, hey, you've been admitted into the MBA but denied for the MS in analytics. Would you like to continue with just a standalone MBA program? And you do have that option too. Now, what the dual degree program does essentially is that it compresses the time that it would take for you to complete the two programs separately by completing them together. So you'll save time, and in some cases, you'll save some money as well. All right, so let's take a look at how we evaluate your application. Let's give you that inside scoop. So we look at your application with two major areas, your academic work and aptitude, so your academic readiness, as well as your experience, your motivation, and your leadership potential for the program. So first, let's look at your academic work. So we take a look at your past academic work by looking at your transcripts. So we do require all transcripts from universities attended, and we'll take a look at how you perform in your during your undergraduate degree. Now, one thing that we will take a look at that I like to highlight is your quantitative ability. And that's important to know because the curriculum is going to be half qualitative and half quantitative. So we do like to see about 3 levels of math in your transcript. Now, if you don't have that, that's okay. Oftentimes people can take the GMAT or the GRE, and that's why we've highlighted it here. Now, one thing to mention is that the GMAT or the GRE is not required for admission. It is not, but it is a great way to show your quantitative ability, as well as your academic readiness if maybe you did badly in your undergraduate, but you want to show that you're ready for graduate school. Now, for the GMAT or GRE, we do like to see above a 600 for the GMAT or above a 300 for the GRE. So we do want to see above 50% on both the quantitative and the verbal sections of the GMAT or GRE if you choose to submit it. Now, one thing I do like to mention is that if you do poorly, do not submit because it will negatively affect your application. Now, if we're looking at your work experience on the bottom, we will be requesting your resume. So we do want to take a look at if you have any experience in managing teams, any leadership experience, any full-time work experience. That's going to be very important. If you're someone that doesn't have much work experience, make sure to highlight any leadership experience that you may have or volunteer experience or internship experience. That's something important to note for the MBA. Now, we will also be asking you for your personal statement. Personal statement should be no more than 750 words, answering the prompt. Prompt usually wants to know your long-term and short-term goals after you receive your MBA, and be as detailed as possible. You know, is there a specific role that you want to go for, a specific company? Do you want to open your own business? Make sure to highlight that in the personal statement. One thing to note is that you should absolutely proofread your essay or have someone else take a look at your essay and proofread it. Want to make sure that you check that you're putting down the right university, maybe you're putting down the right program, you're not making any spelling mistakes. That's very important. Next are letters of recommendation. Letters of recommendation are not required and they are optional. And so if you are going to provide letters of recommendation, I would recommend choosing a supervisor or a faculty member that taught a class that you were in. And then last but not least, we do require a video interview. So the video interview is a self-recording of you, and you'll be recording yourself answering 4 questions within 5 minutes. Now you do get 3 attempts to answer your questions, but just remember with every attempt, you get a set of 4 new questions every single time. Make sure to dress professionally and make sure that you are in a quiet area to complete your video interview, okay? So here we have our entire investment summary and financing options for the MBA. So the tuition here is in 3 classifications. So first we have our in-state tuition, which is about $44,750. We have our out-of-state for those out-of-state students, and it's about $50,440. And then we have our out-of-country tuition for those students that are international students, and it's about $51,400. Now, usually when I talk about tuition, the next question is, how do I finance my tuition? We do have a few options available for you. Now, we do evaluate all students for any merit-based scholarships. And again, these will be looking at your academic achievements. These are highly competitive and very limited in amount and in how many we offer. And then our most popular option, as well as the highest award that we offer, is our graduate assistantship positions. Now, those will offer you a partial tuition waiver for the MBA. And everyone that applies is considered for these graduate assistantship positions at time of reviewing your application. Now, these will give you a partial tuition waiver. They give you a small stipend, and they do require you to work those 12 to 16 hours. And if you're not offered one at time of admission, you can apply to them separately after gaining admission and submitting your deposit. And you can apply to any open positions within the entire Georgia State University. Last but not least, we do have some department-specific scholarships, but those are often offered after you have started the program. So try to do well within the program to be considered for additional scholarships after starting. Now, we do have some educational loans that are available for students. Some of them are through the federal student aid, some are Grad Plus loans, as well as some private education loans. Now, the team that's going to help you with tuition breakdown or learning about any educational loans is going to be our graduate student financial services team. And we have their contact information here for you if you have any questions. So here we have our 2025 deadlines. Now, if you're looking at this at a different cycle, keep in mind that our deadlines tend to be near the same timing and are usually often released within around August for any new cycles. So right now we are showcasing our 2025 deadlines, and we have them broken down by spring, summer, and fall. So essentially, I always recommend applying before round 2 to be considered for scholarships, but we will continue to consider applicants for scholarships until funding has ended. Now, right now, we are on our final deadline for international students. That deadline has passed, and that one was March 17th. So our next deadline is our May 5th deadline, which is our domestic student deadline. If you applied by the May 5th deadline, you would get a decision by June 13th. So essentially, all of our deadlines will also have a decision deadline. And what that means is that if you apply by a certain date, you should get a decision no later than that day. So you may get your decision before then, or you may get it by that day. Now, if you're interested in applying, we have the link down there for you to apply. So feel free to start your application now if you'd like. All right, and that's it. Thank you everyone for joining us to learn more about the MBA. And I appreciate everyone's interest. If you have any questions, join us for our virtual office hours. Thank you so much.